Is it Minnie Ruffin? Did I say your first?
That's it.
Minnie Ruffin.
Good morning. I'd like to focus on the human impact of the Vogtle plant, of the people in that region. I spoke with a resident from Berks County a few weeks ago, and I hadn't seen her for a while. And I said, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you." She said she had just returned from Berks County, where she attended 6 funerals, cancer funeral-related deaths, all independent deaths, no massive funeral. And I started checking back, and I noticed from some research that there has been a massive increase in the number of cancer deaths in that region since the first 2 reactors were put into operation. And it's especially prevalent on children and adolescents. Whereas the cancer rates in the rest of the country have been decreasing, they've been increasing in that area. And now we're putting 2 more reactors. I just have a few questions to ask you. Oh, and by the way, most of these people were low-income blacks. I'd like to know, would you want your families and friends to live in this region? Have you no compassion, no outrage about what you're doing? Is this the Southern Belt? What has happened to us? We used to care about people, but it seems that we care nothing about people anymore. Those are my people, and for the next minute, what I'd like to do is for all of us to have a minute of silence to think about all the people who have died down there from the impact of this Vogtle plant. My minute is not up, but I see your signal. So, in conclusion, I'd like to say, stop the nuclear attacks, don't approve the cost, stop Plant Vogtle, and stop killing people. Thank you.
Scott Scout Kilborn. Is that Scout? Am I saying that right? Hey. What's your name? Is it Scout?
My name is Scout.
Scout. And where are you from?
I live in Mapleton.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I really hope that you've been listening to us here today and that it doesn't take a $2,000 suit to get in your ear. Because we who came here to talk to you, we're speaking in self-defense. I mean, our health, this planet, these are not externalities. There's places where nuclear disasters have occurred. They have been uninhabitable for decades, and where people will not be able to live, and where radiation is expected to linger for hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And we don't want Fukushima. We don't want Chernobyl. We don't want that here. Mm-hmm. And these people that come that are trying to sell nuclear power, that are trying to make us pay to dig our own graves. Mm-hmm. These people, they think everything is for sale. And the fact of the matter is that if you approve these construction costs, if you don't do what you can do to stop Plant Vogtle, if you don't stop this nuclear tax, I feel like what's going to be for sale here is you. And I really hope that, that that you will put a stop to this right now and tell them no. I know what they're going to say. I know they're going to try and say that this is safe and that, you know, to not do this will put us all in the dark, but that's simply not true. And I don't know, you know, if you go home, I'm not very good at repeating, you know, the things that I've learned from the reading that I've done. But if you go home and you look and you get on your computers and you look up, you know, on Wikipedia, there's tons of information on nuclear disasters throughout history. I don't want that here. And I want it. I don't want it. I shouldn't have to be here wondering whether people are going to, you know, tell Georgia or tell them that it's okay to do this and that it's not right. I really hope that you will say no. I really want you to stop Plant Vogtle. These people that come here, they lie. They lie. And we speak here because we're here in defense of ourselves. So, please stop Plant Vogtle. Don't improve the construction costs. Don't let them make us pay for this. Thank you.
My name is Bobby Paul, and I'm the Executive Director of Georgia One, Women's Action for New Direction. On a day where I hear in the news that the body of Arafat is being exhumed to look at polonium, I'd like to dedicate my remarks to the people and the workers at these nuclear facilities who are very often exposed to a lot of radionuclides that last a very, very long time, and especially the people in the central Savannah River region. We've talked about changing things here, rates up, down, new commissioners, new members of the public, new law teams, new people coming in. And there's one thing that doesn't change about this whole business, and that is waste. We have a legacy of waste that we're dealing with in this country from weapons and commercial nuclear power stations that we don't know what to do with. I know Commissioner Wise and I were involved with the Blue Ribbon Commission on America's Nuclear Future. Changed to that, it was originally nuclear waste. This is a huge problem. I mean, we can talk Yucca Mountain, this, that, political, whatevers, but we are continuing to make and push forward an industry where we cannot deal with the back end of it. And as my mother and grandmother used to say, if you can't clean up your kitchen, you don't get to cook. It's too long. And we know that the Vogtle and the summer reactors got in right before the waste confidence ruling nationwide. Hopefully those will be revisited once this nightmare at Plant Vogtle is stopped. But I just want to talk about this waste, or we talked spent nuclear fuel. I would call it radioactive garbage. And it is one of the most long-lived radioactivity on the planet. It contains materials that are in a class of their own. They are radiotoxic, meaning they create biological damage. And I really wanted people to think about this. Cesium is one of the main things that we have a problem with being produced at our reactors, and especially at Vogtle. The National Council on Radiation Protection and Measurement said cesium-137 has often proven to be the most important long-term contributor to the environmental radiation dose received by humans and other organisms as a result of certain human activities. And I will, in closing, I have a lot of what it does to the body, especially women, the fetus, embryo. Long-term damage from lower chronic environmental doses are mostly from mutational damage to individual cells and includes cancers, other diseases, and lasting genetic damage, including congenital abnormalities, chromosomal disorders, and ranges of disease which could span generations. You can't see it, you can't smell it, and you can't touch it. And we have more cesium in Georgia reactors. We have generated enough cesium, more than has been created by all atmospheric nuclear weapon tests in the world. Thank you.
Morning. I'm Courtney Hansen. I work with Georgia One, but I'm here as a ratepayer a concerned citizen, and I'm here, I'm one of the many folks here today that are really worried about Plant Vogtle for a number of reasons, including those financial reasons. I think the folks that have spoken before me have really laid out a good case against Plant Vogtle. I don't need to go into the details because you already know them. You know that QUIP is good for Georgia Power, but it's not good for the rest of us Georgians. You know that you, as a body, struck down a risk-sharing mechanism that would make Georgia Power and Southern Company share some of the financial risks with us as ratepayers, so they're getting a good deal there. You know that it's not safe. You, like the rest of us, saw what happened at Fukushima. I'm sure you're aware of the several lawsuits against the NRC and Southern Company because they did not account for the new important safety information that we learned from Fukushima. You know all of these things. You know that Vogtle expansion is good for Southern Company, but it's not good for the rest of us. And those of us that are paying attention know that your personal and financial interests as commissioners are best served when you side with Southern Company instead of us, the public. So I just want to let you know that people are not just outraged by this, but they're organized. They're going to be here every step of the way watching what you do and calling you out when you side with the companies instead of us as people. And they're also going to be here when you do the right thing, when you side with us. To thank you and support you and have your back. There is a growing number of people that are learning more about QUIP, or that are worried about the safety, or that are worried about the folks in Burke County, or that are worried about the river, and they're taking action. So with that in mind, I just want to ask you to stop the nuclear tax and don't approve any more costs for Vogtle, and stop Plant Vogtle.
Rock the nation, take over television and radio station, bam bam. The truth shall come, give the corporations of complication.